Okay, so a guide to Barber. Um, I'm not 100% with this track just yet, but I would imagine this lap will give you a reasonable lap. It's not going to be world beating, but it will be in the ballpark for a top 10 finish, I would think. First of all, crack on. Weather settings as per our normal test sessions. I noticed the track conditions change from session to session, but I've put it on the minimum that I've seen in them, and that's 10%. That's what we usually get in a race. Sometimes it's 20% in the practices for some reason, but anyway. Okay, setup is the one Joel's posted in the forum today. So let's crack on. Turn 1, as we can see, is totally unsighted. There's 3 corners on this circuit that are blind like this, so when you start practicing, keep well within your limits, and you will, after a number of laps, obviously it'll vary from person to person, but eventually you'll usually 4, 5, 6 laps, something like that, your muscle memory and more your rhythm, you'll know where the corner is and you'll know where to turn in. I turn in, we're in 5th gear at the minute, I turn in at the 1 board and drop down to 4th, holding slight brake to the apex and then accelerate out. Now you don't want to go right the way to the edge if you can help it, because we've got a right-hander coming up, so you need to get back sort of middle of the track, and I use an early turn in now and drop to 3rd. The car now picks up understeer as is normal, so I've probably come into here slightly too fast. Drop down to 2nd, and as soon as you feel the tyres grip, you want to accelerate. Here we go now, we're accelerating now. You'll feel the tyres grip up, and we can then go full throttle up here. Here we go, full throttle now. The exit from this corner is very, very important, with it being quite a long straight here. We now come to this rise here. Try and keep to the right and stay as much as you can to the right, but do beware that the car will get light as it goes over the crest. This is turn 5, I believe. I brake between the 2 and the 1, probably about 1.5, thereabouts. Hard on the brakes, 5th gear now, down to 2nd, very hard on the brake, and reduce the brake going into the turn, and then we can start to try and pick the throttle up. Don't go full throttle, it will get tail happy. As soon as you can feel the front wheels by and they've got the traction, go for it. Here we come to another blind corner. You can actually see the curve in there. whilst I mentioned the curb, most of the curbs here you need to avoid. I'll show you what I mean when I get into this section here. So basically we've got a right hander here that leads into a bit of a chicane, and then a right hander that leads onto a long straight. So of all from here where we are now, where, well, not just yet, just as soon as we hit the brake, bump. As soon as we hit the brake, which is around about the one board, from the most important thing here is the exit to the last bend, because as I say, it's a long, fast section. So concentrate on exit speed. Don't try and push it through this section, otherwise you will lose a lot of time. Fourth gear. Now I sort of have you get into a rhythm where you have fourth gear here, third gear between here and the next sort of apex, if you will, and then second gear before the final. Past this you can notice this curve here, it sort of slopes up and then it slopes away slightly, and all the curves around this track are like this. You can use this section of the curve, but don't use that section, because if you go on there it doesn't usually end well. But if you can, go around without using the curves, but if you're going to use them, just use this little bit, don't get onto that bit. And it's like I say, it's the same all the way around the track. So this curb here, if you hit this at any sort of speed, you just go straight on. You won't make this bend down at the bottom. Like I say, this is all about, there I've hit that top bit. Can you see the car bounce? That's a mistake. I'll use the little bit of this curb in second gear onto this corner, and now the corner opens up so you can get back onto throttle quite early. We've got an S-bend here, it's left right. Again, I'll mention the curbs. You can touch the curbs, use the first little bit of the curbs, but don't go over the top of them. It will launch the car here at the speed we're doing. Fifth gear through this one. Now this is an interesting one, another blind corner. Coming down fifth gear, and what we want to do here is turn in just after the one board and try to clip this curb here just out of sight, and then so it's fifth gear through here, down to fourth, and then down to third gear for the exit of this sort of left right. Now down to fourth and third, and then back to throttle. Now here, this this crest here, the track's going straight now, but the car will get incredibly light here and loose. So you need, as soon as you've got the traction, as soon as you can feel that the car's got the traction, you must straighten the wheel. Straighten your steering wheel on this crest, otherwise you'll end up either in this wall or in that wall, but you will end up in a wall. You notice then, actually, I put a little bit of the car went slightly loose, and I had to put a bit of correction in it. So let's watch it again. Now we can accelerate through here. It's not too bad here. I keep it in 4th gear. Then we've got the final bend coming up, which is round this corner here, and it's very difficult to pick up any kind of reference for it. Again, I mean, my vision's here. As I'm here now, I'm looking at this apex here, and I would say it's more rhythm than anything else where I'm picking up my turning point and my braking point. There's no obvious physical markers. I mean, you've got markers out here, but at the speed we're going to pick them up, you're looking in totally the wrong direction to where you need to be looking. Your attention should be down here for this bend that's coming up. So again, go around, keep your pace so that you don't fall off the track, and just build your pace up nice and gradually, and the rhythm, and you'll eventually find your own brake and turning point. Be aware obviously that we're turning and braking at the same time, so you don't want to be too aggressive on the brakes. This right hand bend here leads immediately into a left hander onto the start finishing straight, so you want to try and keep to the right to open up this bend here. Yeah, I do a slight lift and then back on throttle, which just gives us a little bit of front end. The car's got no front end, so you've got to induce it. And there we have a lap of Barber. I'll just play this lap in full speed without any of my littering, and you'll have a better idea of what's going on. There we go. I hope that's useful. If you've got any questions or anything, just message me and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay.